Sean, this movie, this is what brings people together in conversations wherever they are. Could be at a grocery store, a library, or just out on the street. This is the kind of stuff that people want to see.
Well, that's awesome. I am glad. It is pretty crazy.
Yeah, and in fact, thank you for saying that, because I'm going to ask you, what was it like for you behind that lens? Because I know what I'm seeing in front of the TV.
It was fun. It was fun figuring out how to do things in a fresh way. I mean, one of the things I'm always telling my whole crew is let's come up with something we've never seen before. And so just trying to invent that is very cool.
Yeah, one of the things that my wife and I talk about is the masked man. This is a new level of fear and danger, and both of us agree that this is the kind of stuff we always ask, could this really happen? And if so, I have every reason in the world to be in fear.
Well, I grew up on, great horror films, and I love the ones with masked people. And what happened is I went to Italy, and I saw Michelangelo's David, and I go, we haven't seen that as a mask yet. And so we had to actually build that and construct it for the movie, because usually you think of David with warm and kind thoughts. It's like, oh, it's David. And on this one, it's like, what if he turned out to be a menace? And that's, and it was really weird. As it came up, I was in a restaurant in Los Angeles, and this guy had this big David tattoo on his arm. And then I went with my family to Italy, and we went to see David. And I just kept looking at that guy going, man, that could be very frightening with, a hoodie on and a big black jacket. And that was the fun of it.
Don't you love it when things like that hit you when you least expect it? Because my last book hit me while I was walking through a mall, and I was like, why would it come to me now? And have you asked yourself that question? Why did that moment happen for you to create this?
I don't know. Like I said, when I read this script and there was going to be this bad guy, all of a sudden I just started seeing images, and that's what kind of popped into my head. Because they actually did pop into my face. It was like they were around me, and I just saw it.
And look at who you've got starring in this. I mean, Sean Astin and Jeremy Pivens. This right here is a team.
It's incredible. It's funny, when Jeremy Piven came up on the set for the first time to me, I just see Ari Gold from his TV show. And then I grew up with Sean Astin playing Rudy and all of that stuff. So it was so fun to get to work with those guys, such pros, and they brought so much to it. But again, every time I would see Jeremy, I was like thinking, am I getting a call? Is it my agent calling for work, or to yell at me?
Well, as the director, how do you break the viewer from that same kind of a feeling? Because when I looked at the screen, it's like, okay, you make the identity. I've seen him in this. I've seen him in this. You hit IMDb, and then you go, okay, now give me this story, and you do.
Well, again, I think the actors are so good. They became different characters, because when you actually see him acting the part, he's not Ari Gold. He is the father of Elena Kampouris. Or Lou. He is just an incredible, he has warmth, and you think there's this whole beautiful relationship going on, which there is. And then, as the film develops, more interesting things come up.
Bringing these scenes to life, I mean, they're filled with fire, destruction, question, and wonder. You get the viewer so intense that it's like, oh my God, what else is he going to deliver? And Sean, you do. You bring it to everything that I'm feeling in that moment.
Well, I think that's just story. That was in the script. So at a certain point, I just start following what's on paper, and that's what we do. We just kind of find this incredible junction between the script and those actors on that day, and just the idea of how do we give the audience a good ride and scare them in a fun way.
Don't you think that too often that we fall in love with the people that are featured in a movie, and we forget about those who help make the movie? And I think that there should be a way that we need to start honoring you guys more and really talking more about what your guys' eye sees before we even get it.
Well, to me, I'm like of the opinion that we want to hide the crowd. We want to walk into a movie and walk into their world,
right,
and not know that there's any film crew behind anything that you're seeing, that you're just seeing a bit of reality.
Wow, so true, because I go to the movie to find my escape.
Yes, well, me too. And I don't know if it's the escape, but it's just to go into somebody else's world and live it.
Speaking of that, and I know that we're talking about Vindicta, but you've got a new film that you're working on called Reagan, starring Dennis Quaid. I've been with Dennis Quaid. He's a fun-loving guy, but then when he acts, he gets real serious. What did you experience?
Well, I've done a few films with Dennis, and I mean, first of all, for Reagan, people are going to love that. He just becomes Ronald Reagan. And it's just insane how good it is. It's amazing.
Well, I can't thank you enough for everything that you're doing with movies, because we need this escape, and and like you said, we need this story. How about that? We need the storyline to keep us growing within our own imaginations.
I would guess so. I'm not sure. I just hope that we entertain some people and get them to have a moment of being very scared when they get to watch this,
yeah.
Just to have that feeling of fright.
They will. They will. Dude, you got to come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you.
Oh, man, thank you. Thank you for having me.
You bet. You be brilliant today, okay, Sean?
Thank you so much. Take care, Errol.